Here. Drink. Right, yes. Thank you, Severus, again. I really do appreciate this. It is a shame that Adrian was not able to do anything about the taste, though. Yes. Pity. Speaking of Adrian, he has given me a list of questions to ask you in exchange for the ingredients to brew this version of Wolfsbane. He would like to know if the stress of your last transformation had any effects on the symptoms you reported last. Oh, alright. I'm happy to answer any questions I can. Though, out of curiosity, what ingredients has he provided that are so hard to come by? Not all the ingredients are hard to acquire. Just Centaur's mane and willingly supplied unicorn's blood. What? Yes, evidently, upon hearing someone was slaughtering unicorns in his first year, Adrian decided to go out and collect a sample to test. In doing so, he discovered that unicorns, upon death, release a series of chemicals, similar to the way humans do. Evidently, these chemicals act as a sort of poison, resulting in the half-life curse we've come to associate with unicorn's blood. As such, collecting a willing sample from a living unicorn provides different properties from the blood. Only that boy would successfully science magic. Are you expecting someone? No, I'm not. You need to hide. Hide? Whatever for? Have you forgotten that I served as a double agent during the war? The only people who know my home address are Albus and the Death Eaters. And Albus calls before he arrives. He's the reason I have a bloody phone. Now go, hide! Oh, Merlin. Where should I? The bedroom, down the hall, to the left, and for Merlin's sake, be quiet. Yes, right, not a sound. May I help? Oh! Professor Snape, this is your house? Ow! Mr. Brown, you have exactly 1 minute to explain why and how you are on my doorstep.
I don't know. One second I was in my room and the next second I'm here. Let go, you're hurting me.
Oh, please, Mr. Brown, spare me the dramatics. I am barely grasping your wrist. This amount of pressure shouldn't hurt you, much less be uncomfortable.
Hey, wait, don't!
Who did this? Whose handprint is this, Adrian?
He didn't mean to, okay? It was my fault. I argued with him, alright? Just drop it.
Is this all you were asking me about summer school? Were you afraid to go home because of this?
No, it's... Look, he's not usually like this, alright? He just had a rough couple of months, I guess.
Who isn't normally like this? Who, Adrian? Who did this?
My dad, okay? he and my mom were getting divorced while I was at school last year. That's why I didn't want to go home. I wasn't ready to deal with it yet.
I see. Sit.
Okay.
Good. Now, are there any more injuries I should know about?
My head hurts a bit. I might have hit it when I landed, but that's about it.
Alright. Let's get you fixed up, and then you can tell me what happened. Show me your arm. Now hold still. You said he's not usually like this. What did you mean?
I just mean that he's different, you know? He used to want to hang out, play in the yard together, go on bike rides, go for walks by the creek. Just seems angry and distant all the time now. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You're not doing anything wrong, Adrian. This isn't your fault. It's his choice to behave this way. You're not responsible for him, nor his ego. If he decides to act like an overgrown child, that is not your burden to bear. Do you understand me? What is it? What did he say to you?
He said it's my fault he and Mom are getting divorced. That me being a freak is putting too much strain on the family.
I see. What happened today, Adrian? What led up to you appearing on my doorstep? It's all right. You can tell me. He can't get you here. I won't let him.
Dad hasn't been showing up for visitation. Doesn't even call to let us know he didn't come, and he just doesn't come. He was supposed to pick me up today, but he didn't. So you can imagine my surprise when a half hour after Mom went to work, he showed up. Especially since he came through the back door with a key I didn't know he still had. He was drunk, though. I could smell it on him. He was muttering all sorts of nonsense. And he said he figured it out. He knew how to get the whole family back together, how to fix everything. I just had to stop being a freak. Quit with all that hocus pocus and go to a normal school like a normal kid. Told him he was drunk. Just go home. I wasn't going with him today. I didn't want to get in the car with him. He told me it was his weekend. I had to go. Court order. Told me he could shove it. I went to go upstairs, but he grabbed me. I tried to get away, but his grip was too strong. I only managed to get out of it because Jade scared him. She just hissed at him, but he thought she was going to bite him. So I ran up to my room and locked the door so he couldn't get in.
Clever snake. I need to remember to stop by the pet shop and pick her up a rat. What happened next? What caused you to appear on my doorstep? Do you remember?
Dad followed me upstairs. started banging on the door. So I grabbed my wand in case he got through. I figured self-defense was a good enough reason to use magic in front of a muggle, right? As I was watching the door shake and I could hear the wood start to splinter, I just kept thinking about how bad I wished I was somewhere else. I just wanted to be somewhere safe, and then suddenly everything went blurry and bright, and I felt like I was being squeezed like a tube of toothpaste, and then I was falling, and I hit my head on something, and I was on somebody's front stoop. Jade said I should knock on the door, so I did, and here we are.
A squeezing sensation.
What was that? Did you have a cat or something?
No, I don't have a cat. I suppose you could say I've acquired a dog recently. Remus, you can come out. It's just Adrian.
Mr. Remus is here. What's Mr. Remus doing here?
Adrian? What's Adrian doing here? Why does he look like that? Adrian, what's happened? Are you alright?
Where were you hiding? Okay, I see. Good for you.
I don't... We didn't know who was at the door, and Severus has been brewing wolfsbane potion for me. I don't know what it's like in America, but, associating with werewolves around here is frowned upon, let's just say. So, out of an abundance of caution, I hid it. What are you owing for?
You're still brewing wolfsbane potion for Mr. Remus? It's mighty decent of you, Professor Snape. You know, if you showed people this side of you more often, they might like you about as much as I do.
Why are you saying that like you have no idea what's going on? You're the one supplying him with centaur's mane and unicorn's blood. You convinced him to speak to Dumbledore on my behalf. Did you forget?
What? No, I mean, I gave him some centaur's mane and unicorn's blood to study himself, but I didn't ask him to talk to Dumbledore. What's he talking about?
You must be misremembering. Do you not remember the conversation we had about you wanting more data for your research? And that you were worried about Remus's ability to continue to acquire wolfsbane in the absence of a paycheck.
What are you on about? Yeah, that conversation. Oh, you know what? That happened so long ago. This infernal memory, the ADD and whatnot. You know, I must have just slipped my mind. Yeah, I remember that. Of course.
Of course, yes, right. No need to worry. Lapses in memory happen to the best of us. Yes, well, now that you're fixed up, I should call your mother and inform her of your newest location and that you're all right. Do you have a phone number?
Wait, hold on. You have a phone?
Yes, I have a phone. Albus insisted on it.
Oh. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than you just willingly having a phone in your house, considering you didn't react too kindly to me using a pencil first year. Yeah, I do have it memorized, but I keep it written on me just in case. I want to call that long distance, though, cost a lot of money.
For a muggle, perhaps, but not for a wizard. Though magic and muggle technology does not always work harmoniously, there are ways to get around the limitations muggles set for themselves. I assure you, this call won't cost me or your mother anything. While I'm making this call, you might as well settle in. You'll be here for a little bit. Can I get you anything? Hot chocolate, pumpkin juice? I know you're not a fan of tea.
Well, I guess some pumpkin juice would be nice. I haven't had any since I left Hogwarts.
Alright. Stay put. Oh, I'll come with you. I could use some tea to wash down the taste of Wolfsbane, if that's alright. If you must. I can't believe a father would say such a thing to his child. I suppose it explains why Adrian looked the way he did when I came out, but how did he get here? Has he told you? Yes, he described his arrival. I think, based on what he described happening, I believe he apparated on accident. You think he what? Is that even possible? An untrained 14-year-old apparating across the ocean to an address he doesn't even know, on instinct alone? Well, based on the fact that he is here, I would say it is possible. Merlin's beard. Your child is terrifying, Severus. I'm well aware. Speaking of, would you mind taking him this pumpkin juice while I call his mother? Thank you. Adrian, I've just gotten off the phone with your mother. She is relieved to hear that you are all right, though admittedly concerned that you managed to make it across the ocean without her knowledge. We have decided on 2 solutions for our current predicament. The first being that I take you home and ward your house so that your father cannot enter without your explicit consent. The second being that, should you want to, you can stay here until term starts, at which time I will take you to Hogwarts myself. What would you like to do?
You'd really let me stay here? You mean it?
Yes, if you'd like to. I've already cleared it with Dumbledore, and I've contacted the American Ministry of Magic. They're aware of the situation, and you're not in any trouble.
I think I'd like to stay, if that's okay. I bet my Uncle Newt could swing by the house and grab some stuff, if that's okay. I didn't really pack a bag or anything when I accidentally disappeared from the house.
Excellent. It's decided then. There's no need to bother, Mr. Scamander. I can go myself. It'll give me a chance to ward your home while I'm there. Remus, would you mind watching him just until I get back? What? Yes, of course. All right. Sure I can manage. While you're there, give him 2 for me. In fact, make that double. Sirius will want his pound of flesh when he's found out what's happened. Maybe 1 for Minerva, just for good measure. Now, Adrian, I don't believe I've been properly introduced to Miss Jade here. Would you be so kind?
Oh, sure. Mr. Remus? Jade, Mr. Remus. You 2 have a lot in common, you know that?
The pleasure's all mine, Miss Jade. What do you mean? What do we have in common?
Well, you both have legends about you, you know. Chamber of Secrets, Shrieking Shack, and Forbidden Forest, I guess you count that one. I assume you're the one to blame for the whole rumor about there being werewolves in the Forbidden Forest, right?
Oh, yes, I suppose I would be the one to blame for that. Interesting that rumor has stuck around as long as it has.
And then, of course, you've both got a reputation that precedes you based on, something that's out of your control. For her, it's being a basilisk. For you, being a werewolf. Neither of you live up to the scary expectations set for you.
Is that so? Well, you're a very observant young man.
I hear that a lot. Especially when I've noticed something that I'm not supposed to.
I see. Do you notice things you're not supposed to often?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like what?
Like the fact you and Sirius obviously dated in school.
What? Whatever gave you that impression?
Well, when I was looking through the yearbooks last year, I saw you 2 in the background of one of the photos holding hands, which Could have been a coincidence, but I don't think so, considering that your names are together on the Marauders map, and then there's the way that you two hugged in the Shrieking Shack and talked about each other. And then, well, there's the fact that you have an obvious type.
A type? You think I have a type? Oh, do tell.
Oh yeah, snarky, dark-haired bad boys.
I think you might have, misinterpreted some of the information that you'd gathered. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Remus, if you're gonna play dumb, you're gonna have to try harder.
Playing dumb? You think that because you've gathered all this would be evidence that I'm playing dumb by telling you you're wrong?
No, I think you're playing dumb because I can hear you freaking out, trying to figure out how you can convince me that I'm wrong. Did you forget that Professor Snape gave me legitimacy lessons last year?
Right. Yes, of course. Fine, you've got me. We dated briefly. 6th and 7th year, to be exact. Though things, fizzled out a bit when I thought he was the one who killed Lily and James, and vice versa. Don't tell anyone, please.
Smart. Make sure that I don't accidentally ruin all the flirting you did with Professor Snape over the summer. I get it.
There's really no point in lying to you, is there? You know, I'm starting to see why people tell you you're too observant for your own good. Is it really that obvious?
Oh yeah, you're about as obvious as a lime green house brick. Unfortunately for you, though, Snape seems to be red-green colorblind.
Flirting? I have not been flirting with Severus. I don't know where you've got such an idea like that.
Mr. Remus, I was born at night, but it sure as shit wasn't last night. I saw the way you were trailing behind him like a lovesick puppy all through this damn house. It doesn't take a genius to know that you've been flirting your ass off. He's just too fucking oblivious to notice it. He has a real problem with noticing when people like him. In any sort of way, platonic, romantic, or otherwise.
Right, of course. You know, you can just call me Remus. You don't have to put the Mr. in front of it.
No, that feels weird.
What about using my name feels weird?
You were my professor for a whole year. I called you Professor Lupin for an entire year. Calling you Remus is a big step from Professor Lupin.
Alright, I suppose I can understand that, but I'm not your professor anymore. I'm no one of consequence, really. I'm an acquaintance of a current professor. Nothing more. Perhaps a trusted adult, if you'd like. But, really, just Remus is fine, I promise you.
Alright, fine. If it means that much to you, Remus it is, then.
Thank you.
Still feels weird.
Yes, well, I'm sure you'll get used to it. Just give it time. Excuse me. Are you getting tired?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, it is getting a bit late. I'd hoped Severus would be back by now, but I suppose it's taking a bit longer than he would have liked. Why don't you go to his bedroom and have a lie down? I'm sure when he gets back, he'll provide something for you, transfigure the couch or whatnot, but I'm not quite sure what he wants to do. I'll wake you when he gets back, alright?
Okay. Just down that hall, right? It's the room you came out of, I'm guessing.
Yes. Sleep well. Merlin. Hello, Remus. I see you've helped yourself to my library. Oh, welcome back. I hope you don't mind. I've sent Adrian for a lie down in your room. He was getting a bit tired. What in Merlin's name have you done to your hand? Oh, don't be so alarmed. It's nothing a simple healing charm won't fix. No. Yes, well, Episky isn't going to take care of this. It's a bit more serious. Yeah. Are you any good at healing charms, or would you like me to take care of it?
I assure you, I am quite adept at healing charms. But if you insist, by all means.
How very generous of you. Just hold it out and hold still. That's not right.
No, not. A substantial amount of that blood is not mine. I seem to have missed a spot with my previous Squadrify attempt.
I see. No magic, then?
No, I didn't find that magic was necessary to get my point across.
I see. And that point was?
That if Mr. Brown should ever lay a finger on Adrian or his mother ever again, I will be back to finish the job.
Well put. What about his things? I don't see them on your person.
They're on their way. I ran into a, friend of Adrian's, Dobby.
I'm sorry. Who?
I believe he means me, Mr. Lupin.
Of course Adrian has a house elf friend. Hello, Dobby.
Yes, hello. Mr. Snape, where would you like Adrian's things to go?
Dobby, is there a reason you're speaking so informally about Adrian?
Well, Adrian's asked me to call him just Adrian, you see. He was upset that I kept calling him Mr. Brown, and then insisted upon Adrian instead of Mr. Adrian. It was all very confusing at first, I assure you, but this is what Adrian has asked of me.
I see. Of course he has. Just put it by the couch. We'll move things around once he's settled in.
Of course, yes, sir. Do you need anything else?
No, that'll be all. You can go now.
All right. Please tell Adrian I said hello.
Bye.
You know the Potter boy is responsible for his freedom. Tricked Lucius with a sock and a diary. It's very Slytherin of him.
Of course he did. Harry freed the house elf, and Adrian befriended it. Seems to be a theme for the two of them.
How long ago did you send him to have a lie down in my bedroom?
Oh, I really haven't been keeping track. A few hours ago now, at least.
I think it's best that I not disturb him. Something tells me that's the first good night's sleep he's had in a while. I suppose I'll be taking the couch for tonight.
Couch? Yes, right. Would you like me to stay, or would you prefer that I leave?
Stay? Whatever for?
Well, it's just that I've only taught Adrian for a year, but even in that amount of time I was able to more or less figure out what a handful he can be. Perhaps you could use an extra hand around, at least for the first couple of days, just to get him settled in.
I assure you that I am more than capable of taking care of one 14-year-old boy by myself. But if you insist... Fair warning, there's only one couch we'll have to share.
Oh, you're not going to...
Going to what?
Nothing. I've slept sitting up before. Won't be a problem. It's fine.
I knew it.
Let's see, what does he have to eat in this place? Does he just magic up food all the goddamn time? This is a bachelor's fridge. It's just butterbeer and milk. Where they're cuddling the werewolf and he gave me shit last year for petting Orion. Sirius, or the fuck his name. Ooh, my stuff. Let's see. Ooh, my phone. Click. Oh, I'm saving that. Let's see. Of course he would pack just clothes and textbooks. I knew I should have fucking gone with them or sent Uncle Newt. But lucky for me, it seems he ran into Dobby, because I know for hell he didn't pack my Reese's Puffs. I should probably still send it out to Uncle Newt, see if he can send me my case. Or I could fist bump Dobby the next time I see him. Clever sumbitch, convince Snape to bring it. God, I love that elf. Let's see. Of course his bowls are black. And his mugs. His fucking plate. Does this man not know what color is? Plain silver spoons. Right. Because we can't have anything nice. Nice. That's good puff.
Oh, we don't get along very well. We don't like each other very much.
My left ass cheek. Wonder which one of them was reading this. Well, good morning, sleepyhead. I'll say you need to. The cereal. Hope you don't mind. I took your milk. I don't have cereal. Where did you get cereal? No, you don't. In fact, you don't have much of anything in your kitchen. Luckily for both of us, though, Dobby came in clutch and provided my Reese's Puffs. All part of a balanced breakfast.
How long have you been sitting there just watching us sleep like a creep?
So, how's that I don't like Remus thing going for you? Seems to be going south to me.
Now, listen here, you. Oh, good morning, you two. You don't have to move if you don't want to. It's all right. What?
You know, not that I don't appreciate you not waking me up to reclaim your bed, but I do have to wonder, is there a particular reason why, one, Remus stayed over, and two adults with magic at their disposal decided not only not to transfigure this couch into a bed, or at the very least duplicate it?
Slipped my mind. It had been a long day.
Slipped your mind. Did it slip Remus's mind too?
What exactly are you implying?
I'm just saying, for two people who claim not to like each other very much, you, didn't do a whole lot to prevent being cuddled up snug as a bug in a rug this morning.
Eat your cereal and be quiet.
Yes, sir.
I'm not awake enough for this. I'm going to go make some tea. Whoa, that could have gone better.
Hey, Remus.
You want to see something awesome? Adrian, I don't mean to sound like a pessimist, but I get the distinct impression that, our definitions of awesome are, a bit different.
Oh, come on, just trust me. I saved your life last year. Least you can do is trust that I know the definition of awesome.
Oh, all right, yes, let's see, what is it?
Alright. So while you two were sleeping...
What is that?
What? What do you mean, what is that? It's a phone.
That's a phone? I thought phones were connected to walls or operated by Muggle coins. How is that a phone?
What do you mean, how is it a phone? It just is a phone. It's a mobile phone. This one's a flip phone. It's called a flip phone because it flips.
Oh. Then what is it you wanted to show me on your mobile phone?
Right, anyways. It's got a camera in it. I'm not going to explain to you how that works. Long story short, I can take photos with my phone. And I took this one this morning.
Oh, that's nice. Merlin's beard. You can never let Severus know that you have this.
What? Why not? It's a cute picture. Why wouldn't he want to see it?
Well, for one, I suspect he'll want to destroy it and the phone it was taken on. And for another, I think he was a bit embarrassed by what happened this morning. It might be best if we don't speak of it ever again.
Embarrassed? Why would he be embarrassed? I thought cuddling on the couch was a normal thing to do with somebody that you had feelings for. What's embarrassing about that? I don't... That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, while I appreciate the sentiment, Adrian, I regret to inform you that love between adults is a bit more complicated, messier, not quite as simple and straightforward as it is in youth.
Complicated? What's complicated about this? You two obviously like each other. Just say something. Do something.
Adrian, please, just drop it. If not for my sake, for Severus. If he wants to talk about it, he will. If he doesn't, pushing it will only make things worse.
Right. Fine. Okay. Sorry. I shouldn't have taken the photo. I won't let him know I did. I'll drop it.
Thank you. Adrian? Where'd he go? That's strange. Where's Adrian? Oh, well, I assumed he was with you, is he not? Well, as is evident by the fact that I don't know where he is not with me, Remus. Where is he? I don't know. I looked away for a moment. When I looked back, he was gone. Gone? What do you mean, gone? exactly what I said. We were just talking, and I looked away for a moment. When I looked back, he was gone. I assumed he went to go find you. What exactly did you say to him? Nothing of consequence. We were just talking about, this morning. He seemed very interested in it. Do not paraphrase with me, Lupin. What did you say to him? Nothing. I just said that it was none of his business, that he needed to drop the subject, and that continuing to bring it up might upset you. Nothing of consequence. You're an idiot. Do you have any idea what you've just done? Adrian! Forgive me, Severus, but, you call me an idiot quite often. What have I done this time? What you've done is likely trigger an RSD episode. Do you know what that is? Do you have any idea the damage you have just caused? I'm sorry, am I supposed to know what that means? You're just saying things at me. RSD. Rejection Sensitive Dysphoria. In layman's terms, you have just caused him extreme emotional distress to the point that it could be physically painful because you decided to insinuate that perhaps he might have upset me, the person whom he went to after his father brutalized him not 24 hours ago. I'm going to go find him, and when I get back, you had better not be here. No, hold on, I didn't know. I was just trying to help. I didn't think that... Oh, what a surprise. The great Remus Lupin did not think through his actions. Reminds me of 6th year. Get out of my house. Adrian! Wait, Severus, please! Let me fix this. There has to be something I can do. Believe me, Lupin, you have done quite enough already. What if I explained to him that there was no rejection, that you'd be cross with me and not him? Well, I can appreciate the sentiment. That is unlikely to work. It does not matter if the rejection is real or simply perceived. RSD does not care. Please, at least let me stay until we find him, so I know he's safe. After that, you can kick me out. Fine. We should split up. We can cover more ground. Right, you take the back half, I'll take the front half, I suppose. Any luck? Did you find him? No, I didn't find him either, but the good news is I did cast a magic detection charm, and nobody's operated within 20 meters of the house. Not since yesterday, at least. So, he's still here, somewhere. You know, it's the strangest thing, somehow, the fact that Adrian has managed to vanish without magic within my home is not much of a comfort to me, Lupin. Well, you know your home better than anyone else. Do you have any secret rooms, hidden passageways, anything? Anywhere he could have gone, anything he could have stumbled into? No, I don't have any secret rooms or passageways within my home. What do I look like to you? I don't know, I suppose we double-check everything? Triple-check, perhaps? Oh, double-check everywhere I've looked. What a brilliant plan. If only I'd thought about that earlier. Idiot. What if we asked Dobby? Excuse me? Well, you said you ran into Dobby at Adrian's home. What was he doing there? How should I know what he was doing there? I don't go around interrogating every errant house elf that I run into. It didn't seem odd that a British house elf was in America. A recently freed British house elf was in America. In a muggle home, nonetheless. Wearing clothes. And they don't make clothes for house elves, here or in America. And Adrian's proficient in charms, and shrinking charms are his specialty, so is it out of the realm of possibilities that perhaps Adrian has been clothing, housing, and feeding Dobby? If anyone would know where he'd go when he's upset, it'd be someone who lived with him. I don't know if I'd call an entire year recently freed, but I suppose I can see your point. However, it is unlikely he'll respond if I call for him. due to the aforementioned freedom, but I will try. Dobby?
Yes, what does Mr. Snape need?
Adrian has gone missing. If you know where he is, you need to tell us now.
Dobby doesn't have to tell you anything. Dobby's a free elf.
Severus. Sorry, Dobby. I don't mean to be a bother, but the goal is to prevent upsetting Adrian further, right? Obviously. Well, it's just that Adrian treats the basilisk who tried to kill him like an equal, like a human. And he's been feeding, clothing, and housing Dobby. Do you see where I'm going with this? You're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting, are you? Well, I can agree it's a bit odd, but... well, you saw how treating Miss Granger poorly went down last year. I can't imagine it'd be much different for Dobby here. Mr. Dobby. Adrian has gone missing. We don't know where he's gone, but we know he hasn't left this house. If you know where he's gone, we would greatly appreciate any insight you can provide.
Well, Dobby has noticed that Adrian spends an awful lot of time in his case.
What on earth do you mean he spends time in his case? Do you mean with?
No, Dobby does not mean with. Dobby means in. Dobby knows words.
Remus, this isn't working. You talk to him. If I were you, I'd do something about that prejudice. Adrian's going to be quite upset with you if he finds out about it. Mr. Dobby, I don't mean to be a bother, but we don't quite know what you mean by in his case. The case you're referencing is far too small for a boy his size to fit inside of. What do you mean?
Oh, Dobby likes you much more than Dobby likes Snape. Dobby means precisely what Dobby said. Adrian spends a lot of time in his case. He says it's like a TARDIS, that Mr. Uncle Newt made it for him.
I don't know what a TARDIS is or who Uncle Newt is, so I'm about as lost as you are, Severus. It's a time-travelling police phone box from a Muggle TV series. It's known for being bigger on the inside. His uncle must have cast an undetectable expansion charm on the inside of it. Oh, Merlin. I'm sorry, you watch Muggle telly? What's wrong? I could be wrong, and I sincerely hope that I am, but I think Uncle Newt is Newt Scamander, which would explain why Albus was so keen on allowing him to attend Hogwarts and why he seems to have such an affinity for animals that are trying to kill him. Oh. Oh yes, that would explain quite a lot.
Only God can judge me.
Incorrect. I can. You're a cunt.
It's empty.
Yes, that does tend to happen when Adrian doesn't want anyone else in his trunk with him.
Dobby, my patience is beginning to wear thin. How do I access Adrian?
Well, Adrian did tell Dobby how to override the charms on the box and enter, even if Adrian was upset. But in order for Dobby to do that, Mr. Snape will have to stop being such a prat.
What did you just say?
Did Dobby mumble? If Mr. Snape wants Dobby's help, Mr. Snape needs to stop being such a prat and ask nicely.
Now listen here, you little...
No, you listen. Dobby is Adrian's friend, and you have upset Adrian, and you're being very mean to Dobby. So if you want Dobby's help, and you want to see Adrian, and you don't want Dobby to tell him what you've been doing out here, you're going to start treating Dobby with some respect.
Fine. I'm sorry. Now can you help me get to Adrian?
Dobby will help when Mr. Snape gives Dobby a real apology. Adrian taught Dobby all about fake apologies, and that one distinctly smells of dragon dung.
Dobby, you have my sincerest apologies. Now please, I am worried about Adrian, and I would like to get to him. Please, if you would be so kind, help me accomplish that.
That one still sucked. But it's a start. So Dobby will give this one to you because he's nice. You should try it sometime. Now move over. Dobby has work to do.
Not to say I told you so, but told you so. I can still throw you out of this house, you know.
Now, to be clear, what Dobby is about to do must never be repeated. Is that understood?
You're joking.
Dobby will not open the case unless Mr. Snape agrees.
Yes, fine, all right. I won't repeat whatever I see you do here. Happy?
Pinky promise.
What?
It's a muggle spell. As unbreakable as an unbreakable vow. Pinky promise or Dobby does not open the case.
Yes, I'm aware of what a pinky promise is, Dobby. This is ridiculous.
Good. Now let's get started. And all done.
It was that simple the whole time.
This is the part where you say thank you to Dobby.
Thank you, Dobby. You have been most helpful.
Mr. Snape is welcome. Now, when you're inside, don't touch anything. Dobby learned that the hard way.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. I suppose it's a good thing that he apparently doesn't suffer from claustrophobia. It's quite a cramped space. About the size of a walk-in closet, I'd say. The walls are just covered in shelves full of jars of things. What are these? If I had to hazard a guess, I would assume potions ingredients. There's monk's hood. Devil's claw. A jar of bazours. I don't know what that is. You're telling me that the great Severus Snape doesn't know what potions ingredients are on the wall? Oh, I've officially seen everything then. I'm well read, not all-knowing, you twit. Yeah, so I've noticed. This must be where he brewed his potion last year. Be one of the only places he could control. And it's compact. And with the Warden, I mean, nobody would have known that he was in here. Ingenious. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it does not seem that Adrian is in his case.
Yes, well, he wouldn't be, would he? How many wizards do you know that just hang out in their storage rooms? It's probably through that door in the main area.
What door? Shut up.
Oh, Merlin help Dobby.
Merlin's beard. This library is enormous. What does a 14-year-old need with all these books?
It's not all that big. At least not according to Adrian. He told Dobby that he only puts books in this room that he's read. It's mostly for cataloguing, he says.
He's what? All of these? How? That can't be possible. There aren't enough hours in the day. Implausible, not impossible, as is evident. Likely he did the majority of his reading last year with his time turner. He'd taken to staying up for days at a time to avoid the nightmares that we now know were just memories. Unpleasant ones, though, I'll give him that. He had a what? Whose idea was it to give a 13-year-old a time turner? Dumbledore's. Minerva had come to him with concerns. Miss Granger had wanted to take far more classes than there were hours in the day. Adrian had a similar problem. He suggested the time turners would be useful. That was proved incorrect. Miss Granger I could understand, but Adrian, really? This is mildly unsettling. Yes, well, neither of them were ever late to a class nor missed any work. They both suffered some mental health issues. It was never wise to give a couple of 13-year-olds time turners, or as Adrian called them, wearable TARDISes. Do not ask me to explain what that is.
If Mr. Lupin thinks this is unsettling, Dobby wonders how he's going to deal with the rest of the case.
There's more. There's more than the... What do you mean there's more?
Yes, quite a bit more. Dobby hasn't had a chance to show either of you the brewery or the forest, both of which are quite large.
A forest. Did I hear that correctly? He has a forest in this box.
Yes, Dobby said forest. Mr. Snape has an awfully bad habit of questioning Dobby.
The brewery tracks. The forest... That now has me slightly concerned as well. Should I ask?
Mr. Snape could ask. Dobby wouldn't advise it, but Mr. Snape could ask.
I suppose I'm asking then. Why does Adrian have a forest in his box?
Well, the forest started out as a sort of testing chamber, but now it's mostly used for Miss Jade to be able to stretch her scales. Dobby doesn't like it when Jade is stretching her scales, though. He's far too big.
I'm sorry. Stretch big. What do you mean big? A testing chamber. Why would he need a testing chamber?
Well, the same warding that keeps you out keeps whatever's in. Be it wizard, beast, werewolf.
I see. What, werewolves? Why would you specify werewolves like that? Are you saying what I think you're saying? Oh, please, Lupin, I'm sure it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. Anything could be misconstrued, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to be upset by the implication that Adrian is evidently containing and testing on werewolves within his case?
Dobby isn't here to give you a grand tour. Dobby is here to find Adrian, which we should be doing. Stop asking Dobby so many questions.
Dobby, just hold on a second. Severus, you're going to tell me that this doesn't seem the least bit suspicious to you? That a 14-year-old who has evidently created his own recipe for wolfsbane potion that works better than any wolfsbane I've ever tried, that you've ever brewed, has a case specifically designed for not only brewing said potion, but evidently testing it, and containing the werewolves he tests it on. That doesn't bother you at all. That doesn't seem the least bit concerning to you. What exactly are you implying? I don't know, Severus. What could an idiot like me be implying? I'm sorry. You're telling me that you see a case specifically designed for furthering medicine for werewolves specifically, created for the 13-year-old who tackled you last year to make sure that you didn't kill everyone else at Hogwarts. And your first thought is, oh, he must be kidnapping werewolves and testing on them illegally. You can't afford to give him the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt? Well, I wasn't aware you knew such a thing existed, Severus. Oh, wait, that's right. I forgot. You'll only extend that kindness to Adrian. Everyone else must have ill intent. Oh, please, you're being ridiculous, even for you. What the hell is your problem? I have a right to be upset about the implication that Adrian is containing and testing on werewolves. That is an upsetting notion for me. How do you not understand that? Tell me, Lupin, does your arse ever get jealous of the amount of shit that comes out of your mouth? Excuse me? You're telling me that you're going to look around at a case specifically designed for furthering research that would make your life better. And you've concluded, oh yes, this is indicative of somebody who is kidnapping and testing on werewolves illegally. Did it ever occur to you that perhaps the warding on this box is in place to keep Adrian safe from people like, oh, I don't know, his father? Or perhaps it was created as a safe place for Mr. Thomas to go to transform after the incident with his great-grandparents? No, of course not. He's Slytherin, so therefore he must be evil. He must be a Death Eater in the making. Isn't that right? I didn't say that he was a Death Eater in the making. It's not what I meant. Do you have any idea how many times that boy came into my office last year to beg me to be nicer to you, to be friendlier, to give you another chance? Let bygones be bygones, and so on. Do you know that he reprimanded me for hours after I assigned that essay on werewolves because he'd caught on to what I was trying to do? Do you know how hard he worked to make sure you had a space at Hogwarts? That he carried that vial of wolfsbane around, not for his protection, but for yours. And after all of that, you would accuse him of such sadism and cruelty. You haven't changed much since 6th year, and I suspect you never will. He... what? Really? He did all that? But we'd only just met. Why would he... Because that's who Adrian is. He sees somebody who needs help and decides to help them, whether or not they deserve his kindness. You don't have to have known him as long as I have to know that. You're right. I'm sorry. I don't... Of course, Adrian wouldn't have... I'm sorry. As you should be. But it's not me you need to apologize to now, is it? How do you do it? Do what? This neurodivergency stuff, it's new to me. I forget often that his brain doesn't work the way mine does. How do you cope with that? How do you figure out what he's thinking? How do you know what to say next? What to do next? How do you do it? I don't always know what's best for him. I don't always know what to say or how to interact with him. But when I misstep, I apologize. I learn, and I do better the next time. I've also taken the liberty of acquiring some Muggle text on autism and ADD, and that has filled in some blanks. Though I've found the most reliable source of information on how Adrian would like to be treated is Adrian himself. Asking questions. Allowing him to tell you that you fucked up. That is how you do it. Look, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. But I'm going to try. I'm going to figure it out. I'll learn. I'm sorry for any damage I caused today. But if it's not too much to ask, I'd like your help figuring this out, so it doesn't happen again. So I can learn to give him the benefit of the doubt too. Please. When this is over, when this situation is resolved and we are out of this box, if Adrian still wants you to be around, still wants you in his life after this misstep, I will consider teaching you what I know. Until then, do your best not to jump to conclusions or assume the worst about my student again. Am I clear? Yes. Thank you. Good. Dobby, if you would be so kind, please lead the way. I'd like to find Adrian as quickly as possible.
Right. Follow Dobby.
Dobby, loath as I am to be overly pessimistic, I don't see Adrian anywhere.
Does Mr. Snape not know what hiding is? Adrian wouldn't be hiding very well if as soon as you stepped out of the library you could see him. Wizards. Follow Dobby and stop making stupid comments.
Right, yes. Lead the way, Dobby. Thank you. Dobby, at the risk of asking a stupid question, where exactly are we going? When you said forest, I was under the impression it'd be, not quite this size, considering the size of the case.
There's a very large rock about 10 minutes into the forest. Usually that's where Adrian goes when he's upset. Miss Jade likes to sun herself on it. It's heated.
Right, of course. is a heated rock for his snake. How silly of me. How much longer till we get to this rock, Dobby?
Well, that's the thing. It should be right where we're standing, but it's not. Adrian must have moved things around again. He does that sometimes. Says it adds enrichment to Miss Jade's enclosure. Whatever that means. But if he's gone and moved things again, well, that means Dobby doesn't know where the rock is. Or where Adrian is, for that matter.
Of course. Stop. I think I see him just over there under that tree. Yeah. Has that blue hair? I'd know it anywhere. I see it in my nightmares now. I don't think he quite made it to the rock. I don't see Miss Jade on his neck or anywhere nearby. That is a bit concerning.
Perhaps Adrian forgot where the rock is too. We should go say hello.
If too many of us approach at the same time, he may feel overwhelmed and cornered, which is the opposite of what we'd like to do. I think it'd be best if I go check on him alone. Absolutely not. Out of the question. I understand he's your student, Severus, but I care quite a bit about him too. I want to help. You said you wanted to learn, to figure out how to do what was best for Adrian, how to interact with him, yes? First lesson. Stop putting yourself first. You've upset him. He's in a very vulnerable state right now. Having 3 people come up to him who are all worried about him, asking him a million questions, is just going to make that worse. The reason I said it would be best if I go check on him is because he sees me as a safe person, as is evident by the fact that he teleported to my house on instinct alone. So, yes, I will go check on him. Alone. Am I clear? But... Fine. But if at any point he asks about us, asks where we are, if we're nearby, you'll signal for us to come over, right? Fine. If he asks for you, I will wait for you to come over. In the meantime, be quiet and do not cause a scene. Please. Now, I'm going to go over there and... Where's Dobby? Of course.
Adrian, are you all right?
Dobby? What are you doing here? I thought you were still in America. Why are you in my box? In Britain?
Well, when Adrian disappeared, it scared Mr. Snape. So he called Dobby. And Dobby came to find Adrian.
They what? You showed him how to get in my box, Dobby. I wish you hadn't done that.
But Adrian always says that when he's sad, it's best to have friends around. That's why you let Dobby stay. Are Mr. Remus and Mr. Snape not Adrian's friends?
No, they are my friends. It's just... I wasn't ready to share my box yet. And I haven't figured out the right words to say what I'm thinking. I'm not ready to talk to him yet, is all.
Perhaps this is one of those times that Adrian should drop his mask. They're never going to understand if you don't talk to them. And, well, maybe it's easier to be blunt than to figure out how to say it all flowery.
What? No. I can't not, Matt. I've already upset Professor Snape and Remus today. What if they don't like me without my mask? Once they see me without it, they'll know what I'm really like, and then what then? I can't undo that.
You're a wizard, Adrian. If something goes wrong, obliviate them. Or Dobby can do it. Dobby'd be happy to do it.
Right. I keep forgetting there's magical solutions to no magic problems. Okay. Alright, I'll give it a shot, I guess.
Dobby will be right here the whole time. Dobby promises.
I'm going to try very hard not to be annoyed by that. Come on. Is it just me, or does Dobby look a little bit too excited for us to be coming over? I don't like this. Adrian, you alright?
No. I'm not okay. I'm confused. And scared. And angry.
Look, Lupin.
Remus. He asked us to call him Remus. You don't get to change someone's name just because you're angry at him.
Right. Sorry.
Don't apologize to me. I'm not the one you were doing it to.
My apologies, Remus.
Oh, apology accepted?
Look, he didn't mean to upset you. He didn't know any better. He's new to all of this.
Remus isn't the reason I'm upset. I mean, what he did, what he said upset me, yeah, but he's not the reason. That conversation was just kind of the last straw.
Then what? What's causing you to feel this way?
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Go on.
'Cause you're acting fucking weird.
What?
You heard me, you're acting weird. I don't understand why you keep doing the things you're doing. Your behavior doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you insist on acting like you hate Remus when you obviously like him back. I don't understand why the two of you act like you're mortal enemies when you obviously have feelings for each other. I don't understand why you insist on pushing away somebody who obviously makes you happy. I mean, you're so lonely and miserable all the time, and you're insisting on making yourself feel worse by pushing away the only other person who's your age, who was in Hogwarts, who likes you. I mean, you don't even have any other friends that I know of. The other teachers just seem to tolerate you, except for Professor McGonagall, but I don't even know if that's really a friendship, because I don't understand how those social dynamics work, and I don't know if you're just coworkers or if you're friends, and obviously being around him makes you happy. Why do you keep insisting on being a dick to the people who like you?
Oh dear.
Does Adrian want Dobby to obliviate them now?
What? Obliviate? Oh. Now, that will not be necessary. Hold on.
There will be no obliviating of anyone. Mr. Dobby, please.
Did you just call Dobby Mr. Dobby?
Yes, he was quite insistent that I show him the respect he was due. That is not the conversation we are having right now. How long have you been feeling like this?
Since November of last year. You two seemed like you were finally getting along, and you seemed happier. And then one day it was like a switch flipped, and you hated him all over again, and you tried to out him, for fuck's sake, and I couldn't understand why. And then suddenly you liked him again, and then you hated him, and then you liked him, and then you hated him, and you just kept waffling back and forth between whether or not you could stomach him or not. And you seemed miserable when you were acting like you hated him, and I don't understand why you'd self-sabotage like that.
Look, Adrian, I am sorry you've been feeling this way, but
Adult relationships, platonic, romantic, or otherwise, are far more complex than—
Oh, don't start that shit with me. I've nearly died 3 times now and fought Voldemort twice. If I can handle all that, I can handle the complexities of an adult relationship if you just explain it to me.
Fine. The reason I have been acting so strangely is because you're right. I do have feelings for Remus, but I don't want to have them. There was an incident in 6th year, and I swore to myself I would not have these feelings anymore. I've been frustrated for the last year because I thought they'd gone away. And quite evidently they have not.
I know about the things Sirius did in 5th year, but what happened in 6th year?
What happened is Remus and his friends played a very cruel and drawn-out prank.
This, might be a bad time to tell you this, but, I wasn't in on that prank either.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, this does seem to be a bit of a theme for our relationship, doesn't it? If you'd allow me, I can explain.
Go on, then. I'm listening.
What I mean is, those notes you received, you were never supposed to see them. No one was.
I don't follow.
Around 5th year, after the Shrieking Shack incident, I'd wanted to explain that I wasn't a part of the prank Sirius had pulled. But you were always with somebody, always around others. It was never a good time for me to...
Yes, that was on purpose, because I saw Werewolf watching me constantly.
Well, all the time I spent watching you, trying to look for an opportune moment to approach you, I started to notice certain things.
Notice? What do you mean?
Well, for example, your dry sense of humour, sharp wit, could be quite attractive when they weren't aimed at me.
Really?
Yes, well, I didn't know what to do with those feelings, so I pushed them away. I ignored them, and then we went home for the holidays for summer, and I forgot all about them. Until I got back on the train for 6th year and I realised that my friends had grown up quite a bit over the summer. Sirius in particular. He'd filled out a bit. Started growing a bit of stubble. Finally started to brush his hair. But again, I ignored it. I wasn't ready to face the notion that I might be attracted to men. And I was all set to continue ignoring it until we got to the Great Hall for dinner that night. And during the sorting ceremony, I looked over and realised you'd grown up quite a bit as well.
What do you mean?
Adrian's right here.
Oh, please, you took the time to describe Black, and you've insisted you're not seeing him. I feel a bit left out.
Fine. Your shoulders had broadened. You'd grown taller. You were finally starting to grow into your nose. You weren't some slimy, hook-nosed git anymore. You were quite cute.
Excuse me!
You asked!
My bad. I'm regretting entertaining this already. What did you mean by I wasn't supposed to see the notes? You still have yet to explain that.
Right, yes, my apologies. Like I said, I wasn't ready to face the reality that I was attracted to men yet, so every time I had the urge to confess to you or Sirius, I wrote a note, and then promptly stuffed it into my trunk, or rather, a box I kept in my trunk. Unfortunately for me, Sirius and I share a shoe size.
I don't understand the correlation. What does your shoe size have to do with anything?
Well, during our 4th year, Sirius had noticed that my footwear was, how did he put it? Held together by the dirt in the seams alone? So he'd gifted me a few of his old pairs. Mostly because I refused to let him buy me new ones, though I have a sneaking suspicion the ones he gifted me weren't as old as he let on. Anyways, cut to 6th year, my box. On top of said box was where I kept my extra pairs of shoes. And one very unfortunate incident in potions led to Sirius's being soaked with, slug slime. So he asked to borrow a pair of mine. And in doing so, discovered my box.
I was under the impression he did that much earlier in the year. Go on.
I was horrified, of course. I had amassed somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 notes at this point. I won't specify how many were meant for you or for him.
You wrote more about me than you did Black, didn't you?
Anyways, I didn't know how he'd react. I assumed up until that point that he was straight. Evidently not so much. And he assumed all the notes were for him. I didn't correct him.
This doesn't happen to coincide with the day that I found you two snogging in the 3rd floor broom closet, does it?
Oh, look who's finally caught up. Yes, we did. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, he decided to show the notes to James and Peter, who noticed that on paper you two have quite a few similarities. Well, you know the rest.
Yes, I started receiving love notes from a secret admirer in the form of charmed paper cranes that would land on my desk. For weeks I replied back to these notes, until we finally decided on a meeting spot. Only there was no secret admirer there, just your 3 friends, mocking me for believing I, of all people, could have a secret admirer.
You know, the more I hear about the Marauders, the less I think of them.
What do you mean?
Well, this is the 2nd time I'm hearing of Sirius using you as fodder for a prank intended to hurt Professor Snape. I mean, first he tries to use the fact that you're a werewolf to literally kill him, and when that doesn't work, he takes your love notes and uses them as ammunition? I mean, why'd you stay friends with him? Why'd you stay friends with any of them, for that matter? James sounds like a twat, too.
Well, it's not quite as black and white as that. I mean, why are you still friends with Ron and Harry? They've been rude to you and Hermione plenty of times.
Ron and Harry could be dicks sometimes, but they always make up for it. Besides, they've never used me or Hermione to hurt somebody else. Your friends were bullies.
Well, yes, I mean, I've admitted to some extent all 5 of us were bullies, but it wasn't the same when it came from one of us to the other. It's just good-natured ripping on each other, just fun, you know? You know how it is, boys will be boys.
Nah, don't you start with me, Werewolf McWerewolf. Boys will be boys refers to you and your friends coming home filthy because you thought you could hop the crate, but it turns out the other side was just full of mud. Boys will be boys refers to you and your friends falling out of a tree because all of you got on the same goddamn branch. Boys will be boys refers to you bringing home a stray dog every time one looks at you funny because, oh, it was just so sweet and Mom, please can I keep him? Boys will be boys does not refer to using your friends to essentially emotionally harass somebody. That's bullshit and you know it.
Look, we were young, things were different then. It was a different time.
Oh, it was a different time. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that common courtesy and basic human decency didn't exist in the 70s.
Adrian, I was a bisexual werewolf in the 70s. I didn't have many options for friends, and I certainly couldn't be friends with Severus. He hated me. I had to make do with what I had, and there weren't always bad times. There were quite some good ones, too. Besides, it didn't seem quite so bad at the time. Looking back on it now, it's quite upsetting, but at the time, I mean, when you're in it...
As much as I don't want to defend Remus, he is right. There weren't many options at the time for what to do. It was a different time. It doesn't make it any better. But it does make it a bit more understandable, I suppose.
Right, yes. Thank you, Severus.
Fine, let's pretend it was a different time. Things were different then. Why didn't you just tell him what happened?
Well, because there was no point. At that time, I, like everybody else, assumed Severus was straight. What would have confessing my feelings accomplished? Blowing up my friendships and giving him more ammunition to belittle me with? I had two options. Either confess and spend the rest of my time at Hogwarts alone, or stay quiet and save everyone involved the heartache. I chose the latter.
If it wasn't worth the effort to pursue me then, why bother now?
Because the context of the situation has changed. Things are different now.
I don't see how, considering that Black is out of Azkaban and cleared. Won't your boyfriend want to pick up where he left off? I assume he'll be upset to find out you've been pursuing other people.
Sirius has no stake in my love life. He made sure of that when he accused me of being a Death Eater. Look, part of the thrill of being attracted to you when I was young was that it was taboo. It was a fantasy that would never come to fruition. But now, things have changed. The thrill is... there's a possibility. It could. If you'd let it.
Why would I? There's no incentive for me to do so.
You don't mean that, do you?
Remus, when do I say things that I don't mean?
If you can look at me, then tell me with complete honesty that you don't feel anything for me whatsoever. Nothing at all. Then I'll drop it. As soon as we get out of this box, I will leave your home and I will never bother you with this again. You have my word.
How do you even suppose this would work?
That's not a rejection, Severus.
Fine. One date. That's it. And it can't be anywhere local. It has to be somewhere muggle. I don't want to be recognized by anyone.
Right, yes, of course, you have my word. Thank you.
You can at least try not to look so pleased with yourself, you know.
Why?
Because it isn't polite, Adrian.
And I should care because... my box, buddy. My rules here.
Yes, speaking of which, let's exit the box now. I grow weary of its contents.
Fine, let me call Jade and we can get going. She's coming.
What's that noise?
What do you mean? It's Jade. Shouldn't have to be the size of a baby corn snake in here.
Well, yes, I understand that, but to make this much noise, she'd have to be... Oh, Merlin.
There's my big scaly girl. Did you find your rock? Isn't she beautiful?
Beautiful. Sure, yes. Started to see why Hagrid likes you so much.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to Kibble for brains. You look beautiful, honey. Your scales are extra shiny today. They are. I promise you. You look great. Look, we gotta skedaddle. Get out of the box, so I'm gonna need you to stay still so I can shrink it down. Can you do that for me?
Kibble for brains? Excuse me. I'll have to remember to use that one. Please don't.
Alright, ready? Hold still. Yeah, there you go. Always my good girl. Alright, I'm ready to go.
You just did magic.
Huh? Yeah, I'm a wizard. You're in my magic box. Did you forget that?
No, I mean wandless magic. You did wandless magic.
Yeah? So?
Wandless magic is extremely difficult, Adrian.
Really? I always thought wandless magic was easier. I mean, not over long distances, but in close contact. Maybe it's because my powers manifested when I was like 10, so I spent like a year learning how to control them before I got my wand at Ilvermorny, and then after they threw me out, they took my wand away, so... I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to not using one.
You do know you're not supposed to be performing magic outside of school. You could get all three of us in big trouble.
Oh, no, it's fine. I have a permit.
You... What?
What? What's wrong?
What do you mean you have a permit?
I don't know how much clearer I could be with the sentence, I have a permit. I mean, technically speaking, I've got 5 different permits, but they're all for different things. So what part of I have a permit isn't connecting for you?
I'm sorry, 5?
Are they real permits, or are they just pieces of paper with "I do what I want" written on them?
Professor Snape, do you really think so little of me that I would break the law and then hand you a piece of paper that says I do what I want on it, claiming it's a permit?
You have a pet basilisk, Adrian.
I have a permit for that, actually.
That tracks.
What? Please, elaborate. What permits do you have?
Well, I've got a wand permit for possession of my wand because technically speaking, underage magi in America are supposed to leave their wands at Ilvermorny when they go home for the holidays, but I don't really have that option anymore. I've got a learner's permit for learning magic outside of school because my great-grandparents took over my schooling after I left Ilvermorny, and we just decided to keep renewing that so that I could continue to practice magic outside of school because taking 3 months off seems stupid to me. I've got a brewer's permit so I can continue to brew outside of school. I've got a permit for the box that we're standing in, and I have a permit for the care of magical creatures for Jade. Technically speaking, even though basilisks are illegal to breed and have ownership of, I get off on a technicality because I'm a descendant of Salazar Slytherin, which makes Jade a birthright.
Right. Of course.
Oh, and I guess the care of magical creatures permit does extend to the Nifflers and Bowtruckle that are around here, too.
You keep Nifflers and Bowtruckle in here?
Oh yeah, I've got 3 Nifflers running around in here somewhere, and God only knows how many Bowtruckle, to be frank with you. It depends on how busy they got during mating season. Originally, though, I was just taking care of some Niffler pups for my Uncle Newt, but they got attached. And they're happy as can be as long as, they're allowed to forage, and I leave some shinies out every now and again. Did you lock the storeroom when you came in here?
They didn't, but they'll be remembered.
Oh, good. Thank you. Forgot once, came back to all my bottles gone.
Out of curiosity, what other kind of magical creatures do you have in your box?
None, really. I mean, there's some deer and rabbits, just general forest critters, but those are mostly for Jade to hunt, and, well, I guess Sylvester's in here, but he's not really magical either. I mean, I found him at Hogwarts, but I don't think that makes him inherently magic. He's just a regular snake, so. That's it.
You're sure you don't have, I don't know, a werewolf in here, perhaps?
Well, I mean, yeah,
You?
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
Come on, you walked right into that one. No, I don't have a werewolf just running around in my box. Why would you think I have a werewolf in my box?
Well, Dobby mentioned that the wardings on your box are able to contain a multitude of things, and for some reason he decided to specify werewolves as being one of them. Any particular reason for that?
So, all that talk about wanting to learn and do better was just bullshit. You're still on this crap, then.
That is not what's happening here. I just would like some clarification, is all.
Now, hold on. Let me see if I've got this right. Dobby, well-meaning as he is, mentioned that my box is warded specifically to keep werewolves in, I'm guessing, is what happened. And you decided that meant that I'm trapping werewolves? Do your legs hurt from jumping to conclusions, or are you just fucking stupid?
Well, it's not exactly a common occurrence for somebody to ward a space to contain werewolves. I think it's fair that I'm a bit concerned, considering that I'm a werewolf in said space.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and just say that you've been hit around the head one too many goddamn times by the Wampa Willow and you're not actually this fucking stupid. But no, to answer your unasked question, I am not just capturing random werewolves and testing on them illegally. The warding on this box is in place because Mr. Thomas tests out my potions and it makes him feel safe knowing that he can't get out and hurt anybody. He doesn't want a repeat of what happened my first year, okay? The warding is just to make sure that Mr. Thomas feels safe and that I stay safe. Jesus.
Right, yes, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I'm not used to humans wanting to have werewolves. There's always some ulterior motives. My apologies for the implications of what I've said. I didn't mean to imply that you hurt anyone. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I forgive you. Just try not to be an idiot so goddamn often. Jesus. Come on. I'll show you something before we leave.
All right.
All right, here we are. Right over there. Take a look.
Is that a cabin?
Yep, 1 bedroom, full bath, full kitchen, Wi-Fi, electricity, running water, the whole shebang, even has a fireplace.
Forgive me, but I don't quite understand why you're showing me the cabin in your box.
Because even though it stung when you implied that I might be capturing werewolves and holding them here against their will, I know what it's like to have to assume the worst of everybody around you to keep yourself safe. You've been doing it a lot longer than I have, so I figure you deserve a little peace of mind every now and again. The warding that keeps werewolves in is only on that cabin and the woods surrounding it. It can only be activated inside the cabin by the werewolf it is trying to keep safe. The warding doesn't just keep werewolves in, it keeps everybody else out. That cabin is stocked year-round with wolfsbane. My version, of course. And once a month, Mr. Thomas pops in, for however long he needs, transforms, and goes back to daily life. That's why the warding is in place. Not to hurt anybody, not to keep anybody here who don't want to be here, but to keep one werewolf safe. Okay?
I see. You're very wise for your age. I'm sorry that I doubted you.
That's alright. And I know if you spend long enough worrying that everybody's out to get you, you start to believe they might actually be. I don't blame you. You're only human after all. Come on, let's go.
Right. Remus, are you crying? Perhaps a bit. Don't tell him. Please. Your secret's safe with me. Come on, we should catch up before he gets suspicious.
Out of curiosity, you don't bring that box with you to school, do you?
Well, yeah, of course I do. Am I just supposed to leave my lab at home? It doesn't seem very useful there.
And the only security you have on it is your password being a shave and a haircut. Really?
Yeah, it's simple. I can remember it, and nobody guesses it.
That does not make it a good password.
You didn't figure it out.
Right, Remus, you need to take your Wolfsbane potion, and I need to go transform a closet into a spare bedroom.
No, it's fine. I can just stay in the cabinet in my box.
Out of the question, you are not living in a box for 3 months.
I don't see how a closet is an upgrade from my box, but... Okay.
Well, I suspect he plans to use a undetectable expansion charm and transfigure or conjure multiple items to make it more of a bedroom than a closet, of course.
Yeah, it's fair. Alright. Dobby, I suppose you can't really go back to my house because my dad might show back up. I wonder if I can convince Professor Snape to, just stay in my box until I figure out something more permanent.
Oh, that won't be necessary. Dobby got a job that will be starting relatively soon.
You got a huh?
A job at Hogwarts.
Uh-huh. I see. And, how much are you getting paid to work at Hogwarts?
A whole galleon a week.
What?
Dobby's fairly certain he didn't mumble. A galleon.
Dobby, that is $7.35 a week. You were getting paid $1.05 a day? $1.05 a day? Why would you agree to that?
Well, Dumbledore did offer Dobby more, but Dobby talked him down.
Dobby, sweetheart, darling, do you remember the conversation we had about knowing and understanding your worth?
Yes, Dobby remembers. Dobby has an excellent memory.
Okay, do you really think that your manual labor is only worth $1.05 a day?
Well, Dobby thought so, but now Dobby's starting to second guess.
Okay, let me see if I can put this into perspective for you a little bit. The point of making money is so you can buy things. For most people, it's things like a place to live, food to eat, stuff like that. But you don't have to worry about that because, working for Hogwarts is kind of a full-time job, so you get room and board, food there, I'm guessing. But you do have to pay for things like clothes, leisure activities, special treats, right? What do you think you can buy with 1 galleon?
Dunno, maybe a nice new pair of shoes.
You don't actually know how money works, do you? You don't know what things cost, do you, hon?
Evidently not.
Right. This sweater, the hoodie I'm wearing, right? 12 galleons. Would you work for 3 months to get this sweater? Does that seem fair to you?
Ooh, no. When Adrian puts it like that, it seems a bit like taking advantage of Dobby.
Maybe working for, 2 days? Seems a little more reasonable for this sweater, right? Yeah?
Oh, yes, that does seem quite a bit nicer.
Okay. How much did Dumbledore offer you originally before you talked him down?
10 galleons a week, with weekends off.
Oh, so he was just lowballing you from the get-go. All right, okay. That's fine. I didn't expect for my school year to start with me fighting an old man, but it sure as shit is gonna finish with it.
I don't know if I'd call that lowballing by any means. Dobby is a house elf, after all. I mean, you don't pay house elves. It's quite a generous offer, considering.
Remus, I want you to look me on my eyeballs. Right fucking here. And say that stupid ass shit again with the confidence of a man who doesn't plan to have puppies. I fucking dare you.
I think I'd rather not, actually. Apologies, Dobby.
That's what I fucking thought. Now, Dobby, sweetheart, darling, here's what's gonna happen, okay? You're gonna go back to Hogwarts, and you're gonna inform Dumbledore that after some consideration, you have decided that your labor is worth 20 galleons a week, with weekends off, okay?
20?
Yeah, honestly, I think you're worth more than that, but 20 is the lowest I'm willing to go without kicking his bedazzled ass into the lake.
All right. Is Adrian absolutely sure that this is a good idea?
Of course I'm sure. Why wouldn't I be?
But it's just... Don't you think it might upset Mr. Dumbledore?
Well, how about this? You tell him that if he's got any problems with the proposition that you've proposed, that he can come straight to me, because it was my idea, and I'd be more than happy to talk it out with him.
Right. Dobby will be sure to pass that on. Well, Dobby best get going. It's a very important conversation to have. It was good to see Adrian again. Dobby will be sure to visit. Goodbye, Mr. Dupin.
It was good seeing you, too. You know, that house elf comment really frazzled him, you ass.
Oh yes, it was my comment, not the fact that you threatened to kick Dumbledore's arse over something that Dobby did.
Why would that worry him?
Well, he did used to work for the Malfoys. Is there any possibility that perhaps they had a tendency to take their anger directed at other people out on him, and that he might worry that you'll do the same?
Oh.
Next time I see him, I should remember to clear that up with him.
Your room is finished. Come on.
Oh, okay. It looks like my room at my house.
Yes, that was the intent, though the majority of it is just a glamour, so that things look familiar. With the exception of that.
My blanket? You brought my blanket?
Yes, I've read that people with autism and ADD can benefit from tactile stimulus. It was on your bed, so I assumed it was a comforting texture and grabbed it while I was there.
Thanks, Professor. You're right. This is better than living in my box.
I do know what I'm talking about occasionally.
Thrown onto the full moon would increase potency, but is that a risk worth taking, considering? Uncle Faces. Hello? Hello? Hey, whoa, slow down. I can't understand a damn thing when you're Britishing at me at mock Jesus. No, I don't know what's going on. You called me. Matter of fact, how did you even get this number? It is important. Peter, what? What the hell do you mean he got out? Did y'all forget to put chicken wire over the bars on his cell or something? What do you mean, why would... Never mind. American thing. Why are you calling to tell me this? Uncle Theseus, I have a pet basilisk. I am living with Professor Snape, two of the scariest creatures known to man, and I am friends with the werewolf he pissed off. Do you really think that fucker is stupid enough to come after... You know what, actually, I take that back. You made some good points. Maybe I will be a little bit concerned. No, do not send a ministry officially. Do not. Because I am from the South, land of the ACAB, home of the Nunya business. Do not send a fucking magic cop here! Uncle Theseus, I am not above making a grown witch or wizard cry. I will do it. I will do it, and it will be entirely your fault. You don't need to. I have a basilisk. Just because she's blind doesn't mean she can't bite. She's 50 fucking feet long. No. Okay, this isn't even my house. You cannot send cops to a house that isn't mine without the permission of the house owner. I will not put Snape on the phone. Uncle Theseus, I know you mean well. But let me put this as bluntly as I possibly can. The only two ministry officials I can stomach are you, because you're you, and Mr. Weasley, because he is the father of one of my friends. So unless you want to come down to Spinner's Inn and park your happy ass on this sofa with me, you're out of options. I ain't gonna entertain nobody else. I promise you. Do not drag Mr. Weasley into this. He's got like 1 billion kids to take care of. He doesn't need another one. The Weasleys have a phone? No, it's just, Mr. Weasley once asked me if I knew what the function of a rubber duck was, so I just assumed, that they wouldn't have a phone. I mean, they do have that owl that looks like it's been playing hide-and-go-seek with the fucking Grim Reaper for the last 4 years. Math ain't mathin', that's all. Yeah, no, it's fine. Just give me a call back, let me know what he says. I should go tell Professor Snape, I suppose. Fuck's sake. Hey, Professor, you got a second? I need to tell you something.
What did you blow up this time?
Alright, first of all, that was an accident, and we don't need to keep bringing it up. Second of all, I didn't come to tell you I blew something up. My Uncle Theseus called. He works for the ministry. Peter got out.
What?
Yeah, they're not exactly sure how he got out, but I've got my suspicions.
Yes, I believe I could hazard a guess as well.
Yeah, needless to say, I've got a bit of a chat ahead of me next time I see Mooney and Padfoot. But that ain't the only bad news. My Uncle Theseus is a bit of a worrywart. So he wanted somebody from the ministry to come check on me, but I don't like cops a whole lot, so...
I'm not expecting anybody. Am I?
Yeah, about that. How do you feel about Mr. Weasley?
Delightful.
Oh, boy. Oh, hello, Professor Snape. Adrian.
Mr. Weasley, to what do I owe this pleasure?
I've been sent by the ministry. They've asked me to come and check in on young Mr. Brown there. Might I come in?
I suppose if you must come in.
Ah, yes, thank you. Lovely home you have. Adrian, how are you? How are you holding up? I assume you're aware of the situation? Yeah, more or less. You really didn't have to go through all this. I tried to tell Uncle Theseus that really I'm fine, but he didn't like to listen too good. Unfortunately, Severus, the ministry has asked that I take Adrian into my custody. I did try to advocate for your competence, but my hands are tied, really. What? No, don't I get a say in this? Unfortunately, no, you're not of age yet, so you're not legally allowed to make your own decisions, and you're here in Britain without a guardian, so...
As much as I hate to contradict you, Arthur, I am his guardian.
I'm sorry, you... what?
Did I mumble? I am his temporary legal guardian. I have the paperwork to prove it. Would you like to see it?
Well, yes, if you have it handy.
Of course. It's all in order. Yes, this does all seem to be in order. Thank you. I will agree to allowing you to visit my home multiple times a week if necessary, but Adrian is not going to be leaving this house unless he wants to. Is that clear?
Right, well, this will make this a bit easier, but I do have to warn you, Fudge will not be happy about this.
Well, if Fudge has a problem, he can take it up with me personally. And you're welcome to tell him I said that.
Right, yes, I will be sure to tell him that then. How about a bi-weekly schedule? I'll come by sometime around noon on Thursdays, Saturdays. Does that work for you?
I suppose that's acceptable.
There is just one more thing. I've got tickets to the World Cup on the 25th, and I'll be taking my children as well as Miss Granger and Mr. Potter. But I can't watch Adrian from there. I can pop in if necessary from my home, but once I'm in, I won't be exactly accessible. So, if it's all right with you, I would very much like to take him with me. I'm sure I can secure another ticket.
Regardless of whether or not he's inclined to join you, you're going to be responsible for what, 7+ children? How am I to make sure that you'll keep him safe if Pettigrew decides to attend the match?
But it's a very high-profile match. Multiple ministry officials will be there, including Fudge himself, so he'll be more than safe, I can assure you.
Adrian, what would you like to do?
Well, it would be kind of nice to see my friends again before the school year starts. And it might give you a chance to do that thing with Mooney you've been meaning to do.
Well, it seems you have your answer.
Good, yes, right. Severus, I don't mean to pry, but who's Mooney? And what is it exactly you need to do with said moon?
For someone who doesn't mean to pry, Arthur, you are doing just that. It isn't none of your business who I spend time with, nor why.
Well, to an extent it is. I am responsible for making sure that the two of you are safe. Is this Mooney person at least somebody that you know well?
I suppose you could say that, and if not, we are aiming to fix it.
Arthur, as much as I have enjoyed your visit, I regret to inform you you have overstayed your welcome. I think it's time for you to leave.
Right. Okay, then. I should probably go tell Fudge about the update. I'll see you Thursday.
Yes, see you Thursday. You know, were we at Hogwarts, I would have deducted somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 points from Slytherin, my house or not.
Ah, you love me and you know it.
Yes, unfortunately, I am aware of that fact.
I don't smell toast. You just said that!
I didn't say anything. In fact, I have some business to attend to in my study. Best not to bother me.
No. We're not just gonna scoot past that like you didn't just say what you just said. Professor!
I didn't say anything and you can't prove it.
No. You just admitted that you love me. That is not very aloof, uncaring teacher-student relationship of you, you know.
I plead the fifth.
I don't know British Amendment. Is that the same as my fifth?
It means you can't make me talk.
Bastard. Fucking dad jokes already, Pete.
You know, I may not have meant to teleport or apparate or whatever the hell it is I did, but I picked a good place to go. Even if it was unintentional.
I'm still not convinced that I like the idea of this.
Like I said, there's going to be plenty of ministry officials there. It's completely safe.
While I can appreciate the sentiment, Arthur, the Ministry's track record for keeping children safe hasn't been exactly spotless over the last 3 years. And he'll be out of range for cell reception. I won't have any way to contact him or vice versa if something does go wrong. It's concerning. You'll forgive me if I have reservations about this whole thing.
Well, Harry, Ron, and Hermione will be there too.
I know you're attempting to comfort me, Adrian, but that only gives me more reason to worry. I've met those 3. Potter himself seems to be a magnet for trouble, if not the other 2. No offense, Arthur. Do you remember how to cast a Patronus?
Well, yeah, it's not like it's hard, but what does that have to do with anything? I thought we were worried about Peter Pettigrew, not Dementors.
There is a form of communication that Dumbledore pioneered using Patronuses. They act as a sort of messenger. You cast one, focus on the person you want to send a message to, and send your Patronus away to relay it. You didn't have much trouble apparating to my residence, even though you didn't know where it was, so it would stand to reason you would be able to perform this. So should something happen, cast your Patronus, ask for help, and send it my way. Am I clear?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're not worried about the possibility of a 50-foot basilisk Patronus just popping up wherever you go. Okay. Speaking of basilisks, are you gonna be alright taking care of Jade while I'm gone? I mean, I know it's only 2 nights and a day, but you gonna be alright?
Yes, I think I can handle 1 snake inside of a box. Promise me you won't throw yourself into any unnecessary danger while you're gone.
I have never thrown myself into unnecessary danger. Except, you know what? Never mind. You got my, yeah, I promise. Scout's honor. I'll be good.
Alright, have fun. Be safe.
I promise. I'll keep him safe, Severus. He's in good hands.